Weird facts you never knew. A university in the Netherlands offers purification grave services, where you can lie in a grave for a while to reflect upon life. Plastic and petroleum were originally environmentally saviors, because they eliminated the need to kill whales, elephants, turtles, and many other creatures for materials. Sunlight through this luminous fountain in Italy looks like it is pouring lava instead of water. Extremely high doses of caffeine can cause you to hallucinate, hear imaginary voices, and sense the presence of dead people. The Aztecs regarded childbirth as a form of battle. Women who died during childbirth were thought to rise to one of the highest heavens, the same one as for male warriors who died in battle. In 1908, the New York Times reported a story about a dog in Paris that regularly pushed children into rivers, only to rescue them for the treats he would receive at the end. Switzerland has rigged tunnels and bridges on its borders with explosives so that in event of a shutdown they can shut themselves off from the world. Great white sharks regularly meet in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in an area known as the White Shark Cafe. Elephants bury their dead and will revisit graves generations later, and they've even been known to bury humans that have passed away. Keanu Reeves almost changed his name to Chuck Spadina because some casting agents had problems with his first name. They said it was hard to pronounce and seemingly too exotic. There is a diamond mine in Arkansas that is open to the public. Visitors can keep whatever gems they find. Over 31,000 diamonds have been found since it opened in 1972. In 1977, we received a radio signal from space that lasted 72 seconds, and to this day we still don't know where it came from. A honey badger's skin is so thick that it can withstand machete blows, arrows, and spears. In 2013, a dad in China hired gamers to kill his son in video games, so the son would start looking for a job and get a life. In New Zealand's southernmost tip of the South Island called Slope Point, the trees permanently stand with their branches swayed sideways. This is due to the constantly blowing strong winds in the region that prevent the trees from standing upright. France passed a right to disconnect law in 2017, allowing people to ignore emails that arrive outside business hours. According to a British study, men drive an extra 276 miles per year because they refuse to ask for directions. A squirrel monkey named Miss Baker was one of the first animals to be launched into space by the United States and recovered alive. An octopus named Otto caused an aquarium power outage by climbing to the edge of his tank and shooting a jet of water at a bright light that was annoying him. He's also been seen juggling hermit crabs, throwing rocks at the glass, and rearranging his tank's surroundings. A rat can squeeze through holes or gaps the size of a quarter because its skull is not plated together. They are able to leap 4 feet laterally, can fall 5 floors without any injuries, and tread water for 3 days. A swarm of 20,000 bees followed a car for 2 days because their queen was stuck inside. Crocodiles cannot stick their tongue out because it's attached to the roof of their mouths. If you tickle a rat day after day, it will start laughing whenever it sees you. In 2013, police in the Maldives arrested a coconut for loitering near a polling station for the presidential election. Locals feared the coconut may have been ingrained with a black magic spell to influence the election. A Chinese farmer who always wanted to own his own plane built a full-scale, non-working replica of an Airbus A320 out of 50 tons of steel. It took him and his friends over 2 years and costed over $400,000. When invited by a lady to spend a night with her, Benjamin Franklin asked to postpone until winter when nights were longer. Donkeys can be used to guard livestock from coyotes and wolves. They instinctively attack by biting and kicking, and if they get the chance, they will even kill. In 1942, a British forest guard in India made an alarming discovery. Some 16,000 feet above sea level, at the bottom of a small valley, was a frozen lake absolutely full of skeletons. Quaker oatmeal packages in 1902 contained a coupon redeemable for an actual deed to a small plot plot of land. In Milford, Connecticut, men spend an average of 7 hours per year hiding in the bathroom for peace and quiet, according to a study. There is a giant hot pink slug. It is only found in a single isolated forest on an extinct volcano in Australia. Royal women used to give birth in front of an audience to prove that the child was indeed the fruit of the royal woman's womb. Pufferfish release a toxin when they puff out that is meant to impair the attacker, so they can safely escape. Ironically, this doesn't work on dolphins in the same way and actually gets them high. So the dolphins purposely inflate them and pass them around to their dolphin friends for fun. The Icelandic horse is a breed of horse developed in Iceland, and they're not allowed to leave the country. If they do so, their return is banned. In their native country, they have very few diseases, and this is one of the measures that are in to prevent importing new diseases. The expiration date on water bottles is for the bottle, not the water. Argentina sadly won the World Cup in 2022. Male nursery web spiders give female spiders gifts of prey wrapped in silk to increase mating success. Wrapping the gift in silk prevents the female from stealing it without intercourse. The deadliest animal in Australia is the horse, followed by cows and dogs. Furthermore, snakes only cause about 1 or 2 deaths per year, and there has only been 1 spider-caused fatality in the last 40 years in Australia. In 1915, a woman was late to her sister's funeral. When she arrived, she demanded that her sister be let out of the coffin so that she can see her one last time. Upon opening the coffin, the dead woman sat up and smiled. Then she lived for another 47 years. Studies show that cats understand human commands but don't care to follow them. A group of pandas is called an embarrassment. In 2018, a parrot owner had to remove an Alexa speaker from her home after she caught her pet parrot secretly ordering itself snacks from Amazon. The oldest recorded "your mom" joke was discovered on a 3,500-year-old Babylonian tablet in 1976. Dessert stomach is a real thing. Your gut expands upon contact with sugar and therefore makes room for dessert even after having the feeling of being full. You weigh less if you visit certain areas of Canada, mainly the Hudson Bay area and parts of Quebec, because there's less gravity than other parts of the world. A man spent $40,000 buying out 2 IMAX theaters to prove his ex-girlfriend wrong. His ex-girlfriend dumped him 7 years ago because he couldn't afford 2 movie tickets for a date. A 2013 survey found that 46% of mothers said their husband caused them more stress than their children. The Muffin Man was actually a serial killer. So, the Muffin Man is probably one of the most well-known nursery rhymes of all time. But did you know it was based on a real story? A really dark story, in fact. In the 1800s, a man by the name of Frederick Thomas Linwood would wait in alleyways to kidnap and kill kids. He would lure them in with muffins. Then the song was later created to spread awareness amongst the kids. The point was to keep them safe, warning them about the Muffin Man who was a danger on Drury Lane. So now, even though he was the first ever documented serial killer in the world, everyone still teaches the song to their kids because not a lot of people know that strange places in the world. First one is Surtsey, Iceland. This island is calm and it's quite beautiful, but it's unique because in 1963 it never existed. Because in 1963 an underwater volcano erupted and formed the island. We also have Blood Falls in Antarctica. The waterfall here is red and extremely unique, being one of a kind. The water is said to come from a subterranean lake that's rich in iron deposit, causing the water to appear red. And according to recent studies, there is also said to be microorganisms living in the lake. Also in New Zealand, you can find the Moeraki boulders. It's these large spherical boulders, and experts say that they formed millions of years ago. First up is Racetrack Playa. The The rocks you find in Racetrack Playa are special as they actually move on their own, yet scientists can't understand why this occurs. It's said that there may be ice that forms around the rocks at night, and then when it melts during the day, it allows the rocks to move. But it's definitely interesting. Next one is Eternal Flame Falls in New York. Behind this waterfall is a small flame which never seems to go out. Scientists say that there's a macro seep of natural gas from the earth that fuels the flame, so you always see it even from behind the waterfall. Then there's the Relámpago del Catatumbo in Venezuela. At the southwestern corner of Lake Maracaibo, you'll see the highest frequency of lightning in the world, around 25 flashes per minute. And if these are cool, subscribe.